Thank you, Roger. Kids grow up so fast these days. Some days I look at my children and I realize that they're older than I am, which is kind of weird and scary. Before Obama took office, they were constantly cracking intelligent George Bush jokes at the age of 10 and 6, and now that Bush is gone, they say they are left with no political figures to make fun of except Stephen Harper, which is no fun, they say. No fun at all. Well, for years I've been thinking that for kids like me and my kids, there should be a book. A book that will make us and the people like us better than everyone else. And now, thanks to BookThug, there is such a book we can all read together as a family. Please welcome Stephen Cain and Clelia Scala. Both of them can say Interpellation.
Thanks, Jay. Wow, what a great turnout. Thank you for everyone for coming. This is Who Says Poetry's Dead? Poetry's Not Dead. I Can Say Interpellation. 3 thank yous, and then I'm going to do a couple short readings from it. First, thank you is to Jay and to BookThug. Thank you for taking on this book. It's an unusual book, not quite a kid's book, not quite a graphic book, a little bit of everything. So thank you to BookThug for taking risks in publishing. Second big thank you is to Clelia Scala. I've long been an admirer of her sculpture and her masks, and I was really happy, thrilled that she agreed to try doing the illustrations and came up with amazing collages from them. You can see them in the book. It's not a slideshow, but wonderful, wonderful collages that really bring out the themes in the text. And the third thank you is to the people who I dedicate this book to, which is my family, to Garnet and Cyan and Sharon. Thank you very much. So I'm going to read a few poems from I Can Say Interpellation, which are parodies of children's poems. And it starts with an alphabet poem. ABC, an amazing alphabet book. A is for Althusser, B is for Barthes, C is for capital, D for Descartes. E is for Eliot's Mermaid That Sings, S for Foucault, who wrote The Order of Things. G is for Gramsci, who in prison still wrote a book. H is for Hegel, who's well worth a look. Ideology begins with I, jouissance is J, K is for Kristeva on L, or linguistics, which is also Lacan's way. M is for Marx, who put workers ahead. N is for Nietzsche, who said God is dead. O is an object, and P is Plato's perfection. Q stands for query, and R is the reflection. S is for Said, who troubles the border. T is for teleology, which means it happens in order. U is understanding, V makes us vexed. W stands for wondering, what then rhymes with an X. Y is a yoking, which leads us to Z, which also means Zugma, as you have just read. This is based on Mr. Brown can moo, can you? Mr. Brown is made to stand in line. Mr. Brown is made to moo. That happens to Mr. Brown. Does that happen to you? Mr. Brown is asked, are you Muslim or Hindu? Then they don't listen. Does that happen to you? When Mr. Brown is on camera, audiences all boo. Mr. Brown has been the enemy since 2002. Boom, 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 Mr. Brown's threatened thunder. Boom, 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 so Baghdad is rent asunder. Oh, the wonderful guises Mr. Brown could be made to assume. Let's turn the page. Let's review. And this is one that's based on Fox and Socks by Dr. Seuss. And if you know the poem, the fox continually challenges Mr. Knox to a tongue twister, and it builds as the poem. So I've changed Fox and Socks to Marx on Box. Marx, box, masses, classes. Marx on box, masses of classes. Marx on box addresses masses on classes. Marx on box in the Eastern Bloc advises rising classes to oppose their fascist masters. Marx on box from the factories to the docks. Flocks and flocks must tape their Glocks to the locks. Rising masses, rising classes. No more fascists, it's a crisis. When workers battle owners, it's a worker-owner battle. And when they battle ideology, it's an ideological worker-owner battle. And when they battle with some Hegel, it's a dialectical ideological worker-owner battle. When these workers fight these owners in an ideological battle, and their dialectical struggle is between the exploiters and their chattel, and these workers fight this battle in a place that's called Seattle, we call this a worker-owner dialectical ideological chattel battle in Seattle. Now wait a minute, Mr. Marx, sir. When Marx is in a battle against the WTO in Seattle and the fascist forces are rising to rattle against the rabble, we call this a worker-owner dialectical ideological chattel rattle rabble Seattle battle Marx on box, sir. Marx on box, sir, thanks a lot, sir. You've shown us up and told us what, sir. You've told us how and why we should, sir, all work to fix our collective futures. And so the last one is Goodbye Moon. In the great White House, in an oval room, there was a telephone, a big red button, and a screen with a picture of the world going boom. And there were 3 swivel chairs and 3 generals with airs, and a man who was confused about what he was doing. Goodbye room, goodbye moon. Goodbye Star Wars, goodbye putting weapons on the moon. Goodbye light and the Christian right. Goodbye bears and electric chairs. Goodbye clocks, goodbye fox. Goodbye house, goodbye Mickey Mouse. Goodbye trees, goodbye bush. Goodbye to those who jumped, goodbye to those who were pushed. And goodbye to the old lady whispering, "In God we trust." Goodbye stars, goodbye air. Goodbye everyone, everywhere. Thank you.